Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this cast. I'm your host, Leafy Potato Style, and welcome to another NRTS 1v1 match, this time played between Mister and CakeManiac. Longtime fans of the channel might recognize the name CakeManiac, and short-term fans of the channel absolutely recognize the name Mister. Mister's one of our best players ever, taking the yellow commander spot on Hidden Valley. Meanwhile, CakeManiac is an NRTS veteran, so to speak. Not the greatest player in the game, but certainly he's been around longer than most. Going to be interesting to see what happens between these two players here on Hidden Valley. Mister off to a pretty audacious start, I would say. Worker goes straight for the middle. Wants to claim that farm as soon as possible. Qualivan messing around in the corner. I tell him to stop shortly. You see Cake's build. He goes 4 farms directly into a house, which is crazy. You don't really see that almost ever, but it's not horrible. While you do stall your farming a little bit, and while you can't keep up constant militia production, so you have to choose between farms and militia, and you really want farms, you don't get stuck at 8 militia like you do in most builds, where you usually sit there for like a minute and a half. So Cake, I mean, he'll get stuck because he's out of money, but he's not going to get stuck because he's out of population. So his militia production could be a little bit smoother than Mister's. Mister's going to have a very temporary advantage here in the middle, and it's pretty much not going to matter. It's such an interesting play that Cake goes for. Of course, you're going to sacrifice having a later second house, generally speaking, because you just don't have that much economy. If you're making militia constantly to take advantage of your early house, you're not going to have the money left over to buy a second one. $45 is a lot when your eco is 70. We see Mister trying to push Cake out of the middle here. Cake just gives it up. Curious to see that. I mean, Mister's gonna get a farm. Cake doesn't really push him out of the middle. At the same time, though, I mean, if you're Mister, you're happy. You've got a whole lot of space. You've already taken the middle. Cake hasn't contested it. If I were Mister here, honestly, I'd push my luck. Try to get a second tower in the middle. Just deny some more farms from Cake. Meanwhile, we see Cake going back to farming up a little bit. Mister, because he's been walking around so much with his workers, and because he's spent money on a tower in the middle, actually isn't that much further economically ahead than Cake is. He is, don't get me wrong. But it's not by so much that it's, like, unreasonable. He will make a quick second house, to my recollection. Actually, no. Goes to farm. And I have seen this game before. Of course, I'm in the match. If anyone wants to send me matches to cast so I can do a complete blind cast, that would be sick, but as for now, casting games that I've already watched. It's not the same as a blind cast, but it's not bad. We see Cake already has an insane militia advantage in the middle. Mister really can't peel any of his militia off to deal with any sort of harassment from Cake. Cake is looking to be maxed here soon. Honestly, in this position, I would love to see Cake just go and stop Mister from taking farms over near Orange. Because he's got, especially if he's making a tower, he's got enough militia in the middle to hold it. All he needs to do is have 1 or 2 militia where Mister's got a worker. And then he's gonna, Mister will have to respond by taking militia off of his center defense until it's barren. Mister expanding more quickly than Cake does. That makes sense. He's got more money to do that. He's going to be housed. His worker over taking the double farms in between yellow and blue is probably going to go back home to make that second house, and he will. And usually after the second house, we see a pretty timely follow-up with a generator. In fact, that might be a generator first. No, it is a house. Okay. Cake, meanwhile, housing at the front of the map is a very bold play. It's not ideal, because if you lose the middle of the map, suddenly you lose a house as well, which it's not the end of the world if you lose one house, but it can be a pretty critical part in the game where you, like, really need your population for that house to, like, suddenly vanish. It could be very tricky. Cake, not quite able to expand over near red. Will conservatively tower. See if he gets away with it. Mister's got 2 militia sort of in position, and Cake's got a very damaged militia out in front. Mister dancing his militia around a little bit. Cake looking to lose his militia, but does get the tower. Mister will have to back off of that. Tower so far from Cake. Not terrible. Don't hate it. Honestly, if he didn't shoot his economy in the foot so hard in the early game, I'd love to see him make more, but I understand he doesn't really have the money in this position. Kind of has to put it towards farms and housing. We see, though, both players continuing to make militia. Both of them have a 20 pop max right now. Mister might be working on his third house. Cake continuing his farm expansion. Problem Cake might run into shortly, though, is he doesn't have any sort of real defense over near orange, and he's kind of obligated to hold the middle now. While a tower might stop 1 or 2 militia or 3 militia from destroying stuff in an area, it does not stop 12 or 18 or any multiple of 6, really. So if Cake completely vacates the middle, he won't have nearly enough to hold it. It'll just get wiped clean. We're at the point in the mid-game now where that sort of thing is relevant. That said, Cake could probably get away with pulling 3, maybe 4 militia, and harassing the entire orange-purple side of Mister's economy. Because Mister doesn't have any defense there, he'd have to pull his own militia back, and then he faces the same problem. If he overreacts, he completely loses the middle. And then Cake moves forward with static defense. At this point in the game, you pretty much need more than 1 tower to hold something. Except against harassment. Also, drinking orange juice over here. Or not orange juice, apple juice. That's the second time today I've referred to apple juice as orange juice. You'd think I don't know what I'm putting in my mouth. And you're right, I don't. In any case, Cake's farming is continuing. Mister's kind of hit a lock where he doesn't have that many more readily accessible farms to take. He's got a couple over near blue, but they're pretty easy to strike at. And I can understand a hesitation to take them if you feel that they will get destroyed immediately. Is housing primarily for eco, and we see that he will start to overtake Cake in terms of houses pretty soon. And Mister, from playing with him recently, I've seen that he's favored, especially in this sort of position, where you have so much more eco to the point where spending all of your money on militia as possible just doesn't spend enough. Mister really likes to go into vehicle depots, as we see in the middle of the map. Vehicle depot and recon and or light tank. Personally, through my experience in getting completely destroyed by Mister in Hidden Valley when both of us go vehicle depots, recon is preferred, just because both of them deal better damage to militia, recons and light tanks, than pretty much any other unit that you could ask for. They perform better against militia than choppers do, and that's great. Choppers are still great because they have their ability to fly and whatnot, but in a very tight game where both players have relatively similar money, the cost efficiency of the recon against militia can start to be valuable. We see Cake going for the air pad here. Still not a terrible play, but you do have to be ready for whatever Mister makes. Mister starts with a light tank in the middle, and sure, that's fodder for the chopper if its militia escort dies. Mister has a pretty healthy contingent of militia right now. We see the first chopper go up for Cake immediately. Great, love to see it. It will immediately start harassing Mister's farms, and that's kind of what Cake needs right now, because he's behind on housing. Really behind on housing. The trick is going to be pulling that chopper back at the moment when you need it the most, because if you have your chopper or multiple choppers out on the map not participating in a fight, you're just fighting with militia, and in this case light tanks would just cleave through you straight up. So Cake gonna have to be a little bit aware of what's going on in this game. Already got 2 light tanks on the ground from Mister. It looks like he wants to move them into a position to strike. Already seems like he's trying to... Well, I was going to say, seems like he's trying to go around the map. Never mind. Changes his mind. Cake fortifying the middle just makes going around through blue just that much nicer of an avenue for Mister. There's only 1 tower in between him going around through blue's base and Cake's base. Right, he goes around through orange, he's got to get through 2 towers, or choose to just go through red's base, which honestly is a softer target than 2 towers. Or hit the half HP tower over in the corner of the map. Cake is playing this pretty smart for what it's worth. He's taking the farms that his chopper's destroying as he destroys them. That way he can catch up twice as fast in eco. You destroy an enemy farm, you know, your opponent's down 8 eco, which means you're relatively up 8. But if you make a farm on the supply pad that just opened up because you destroyed something, then you get another 8 eco, so you can bridge the gap by 16 eco per farm when you do it that way. Cake also, towering the farms that he's taking, does not want Militia to be able to go around and harass. But at this point, we already have 3 light tanks in the middle of the map here for Mister, and this is where things start to get really, really dangerous. Cake does not have really anything in the middle of the map here except for towers to stop Mister. Sure, Militia will fight against tanks okay, but Mister's got a big meat shield of just Militia. And so the Militia are going to cancel each other out, more or less, and the tanks are just going to shred everything else. And once we get the 4th light tank on the field, Cake really, really doesn't have anything to stop them. At this point, you kind of need to double down on choppers, because it's a bit late to start your own tank production up. And Mister can already choose a number of avenues to go around to strike you. And as soon as the vehicle depot drops in the middle of the map, that's great. Cake trying to reinforce his position in the middle. Mister's just going to go around it. He's got 5 light tanks with this force of Militia. And so the 2 choppers that are already on the map need to, right now, get something done. This body of Militia here from Cake is not going to be enough to stop Mister's push. The vehicle depot is done, so Cake could start queuing light tanks if he had the money. I don't know that he has the money, though, and that's the trick. We have 1 chopper rallied over the fight, and there's a 6th light tank rallying across. I mean, this is just overkill. Watch how quickly this frontal position dies, right? So the tower's going to get a couple shots off, and then boom, it's dead. And then Cake's just losing like 5 Militia a second now. It's ridiculous. Before the fight's even started, Mister's lost basically nothing, and Cake's lost a significant chunk of his army. He needs these choppers over to fight now, and he doesn't have any static defense at his base. This game is basically over. Now, Mister might lose a tank. He does. And he could be on the way to losing a second one. Mister just taking damage from the chopper that Cake's got over him, but, I mean, at this point, resistance is futile. This is GG. You've got tanks and Militia over your CC. Good lord. Still, one of the best showings I've seen from Cake, hands down, ever. It used to be a thing where if you bet on Cake to win a match here, you'd basically just be better off donating to charity because you're losing your money anyways. But, I mean, that was just well played. Honestly, if you told me that it was Sunny playing in that position, I might squint at you a little funny, but I might buy it. Honestly, Cake is playing at the highest level he has ever played, and of course, Mister, showing why he's the GOAT. In any case, I'd like to thank you for watching all the way to the end if you did, and if you didn't, I'm not going to shame you, I get it. You got other things to do, like scrolling shorts or whatever. Do your homework, brush your teeth. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and remember, stay classy.